Hold up. Miss Celeste will say she is tired of all the disrespect. People were even coming at her with racial slurs. Can't you see how the devil is working against her from putting out God's word? Can y'all believe some of the people and how they treat the prophetic ones that are just delivering God's word? Y'all have to see this video. Make sure you stick all the way around to the end. It's crazy out here. Check this out.
Your brain. This is what I truly believe. But on the question of people coming to make racial slurs at me, personal gender slurs at me, four-letter words at me, discussion points about me, accusing me of this and that, I will absolutely, it is now a zero tolerance policy. If you come at me in any way that is unbecoming, I'm not even going to have a conversation with you. All the moderators have their operating instructions, and we are going to be implementing it so vigorously from now on. So longtime subscribers, you know how to conduct yourselves. I have very few rules here. I believe in community. I appreciate you. You see new people looking for help. You see them asking for links. I've even relaxed my earlier policy because a lot of the new people who come, they are mockers and scoffers. And then later when something happens, then they come back pretending that they were not mocking and scoffing. And oh, is there any link for this? I used to tell you, don't bother to help them, but you can go ahead and help them. Show them a link, show them this and that, because you know what? It's heating up outside. It is heating up outside to the degree that even though this was just my own personal observation, I'm going to share it. Things are heating up outside to the degree that for the first time ever in living in New York City, for the first time ever in doing this blog is going to be 6 years old in May. For the first time ever, I was spending time with the Lord, and it came into my heart about the usefulness of a passport. That has never been my problem. It has never been on my mind whatsoever that I'm leaving New York. People come and they ask me, oh, but you said New York is going to be hit by a tsunami. Why are you still there? Why do you think I'm still here? My job is here. My apartment is here. I live here. Why do you think I'm still here? It's obvious. I'm here because I live here. I'm here because this is where God put me. Where do you think I'd be except where home is? This is home. But after that prophecy with I think it was talking about war, the one that has the picture of the Bermuda Triangle with the airplane in distress and the ship in distress and the tear, the interdimensional tear. After that prophetic word, when we closed the line for prayer, and I was just thinking afterwards by myself, after closing the line, sealing everything, releasing people to go, I was thinking, and it dawned on me for the very first time, passport. I've always had my passport. This is another thing I don't tolerate people bringing discussions about. There's no need to have a discussion about a passport. An infant over the age of 5 years old, if you show them a passport and says, hey buddy, this is what we use to get on an airplane, most adults in foreign countries own a passport. If you're an adult in a foreign country and you own a passport, put your hand up. If you're an adult in a foreign country and you also have some other form of ID, either a national identity card or something in African countries that is called a passbook, right? So you have a passport, and then you have a national ID, and then you have a passbook, and then you also have a driver's license, which Americans think is equal to God. Here, people think that a license is equal to heaven. Most people just have that. They get that at age 16, and then a large part of this population has never owned a passport. And that's because the continent is so huge. You can spend your whole life here, vacationing here, traveling here, going from the top, going to the bottom, going everywhere that you want to go. And you never have to worry about even going to Canada, Mexico, neighbors, South America, going down to Brazil and Chile and Paraguay, Uruguay, and those other places. Most people never think of that. They're dyed in the wool, die-hard Americans, and so they never have a passport. And yet you will still see people hesitating to get a passport, a people under the indictment of war, which will push you to the borders, where you will learn for the first time that you cannot cross international borders on a license, because nobody cares about your Utah license. Nobody cares about your Kentucky driver's license. Nobody's going to let you cross into Paris based on your 19 whatever Vietnam dog tags. You can't cross with a student ID. You can't cross with your ski membership. You have to have a passport. It is the only form of international border crossing currency that is acceptable at all national borders. Everybody should know this. And yet people are still hesitating because they think that God is joking about the fact that they're going to be driven here like popcorn off of a hot stove. And you will find people who are $1 short of a full stack of bills coming here and saying a passport isn't necessary because the whole world is going to be in difficulty. The world is going to be in different levels of difficulty. And I promise you that the difficulty level that we're going to get here is level billion as compared to some other places. So yes, a passport is not only basic common sense, it's going to become an urgent necessity. And God keeps saying that the war is going to take us by surprise, which means that when it happens, it's the people whose brother works at the passport office. It's the people whose family member works at USCIS or whatever that are going to get rush orders put in. If you're an ordinary person like myself, it's not going to be you first. It's always going to be rich people first and connected people second, and then money people, ordinary money people third, and then you at the bottom of the pile. Walmart, Kroger's, Sam's Club, Costco going you as the very last. So common sense should tell you that when there's no rush, when they're still offering expedited service, that is when you get the $140 and go and get one now. It's not later. Later when there's a press, later when the government sees that, oh, there's a drain, they're not going to offer the expedited service anymore. In fact, later they might put a stop to it. They're going to prioritize those who have their ducks in a row versus those who do not have their ducks in a row. So where are your ducks at this moment in time? And why are Australian people coming here and opening their mouth in something that doesn't concern them? I'm not the news. On the news, the new thing is to constantly fly in Australians and put them on American TV and say, isn't it amazing what Doge is doing? And like, yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not what's happening here. When God is telling the people in this nation to be wise and to make sure that they have their robes on and the belts tied and their sandals on their feet and to eat their food standing up because they know not the hour that is upon them, I really don't want to see any external people opening their mouth about in-house business. It does not concern you. If you don't want to have a passport in Australia, then don't have one. I don't care. But don't come here and tell these people that God has brought under his rod to guide them the way he once guided them under Moses, what you think is expedient for them and what you think is wise for them. I will kick you off this blog with the quickness, and I will sleep good afterwards. I'm not going to blink an eye that you're not able to comment and you're not able to be part of the community because you've demonstrated that you have an inability to understand what community means. Community means not hurting the person next to you with your nonsensical views and observations. That's what community means. It means looking out for one another, helping one another. If you're a Christian who knows how to pray and you know Bible verses and you see someone say something like, my soul is despairing, that person is telling you that it's very dark for me and I've more than once had thoughts that I want to kill myself. That's not the time to see a comment like that and just be like, oh, brother, you'll be fine. No, you need to build a little igloo around that person with scripture. An igloo is a cold house. It's made of ice. That person is on fire because the devil is roasting them. The devil is attacking their mind. So you need to surround them with cold. You need to go into the Bible to Psalm 118 where it says, I will live and I will not die, and I will testify of the works of the Lord. You need to put scriptures like that around that person so that that person's fever, that person's internal temperature with demons poking them with venomous darts can drop. That is what community is for. That is why the comments are open. The comments are not open to attack other people. The comments are definitely not open for you to tell me what you think about the work that I'm doing because I never asked you. I never asked you. And I never will. God told me what to do. I'm doing it. If it works for you, then it works for you. If you can benefit, then you can benefit. If you can't benefit, then leave. It is very simple. The internet is too big for you to be here making noise in my ears 5 years later and think that I'm going to tolerate it. I absolutely will not. So that is about all that I have to say. I'm trying very hard to finish this work. I'm trying to set 2025 as the year that I can finish everything on the blog so I can move on to other things. I have other projects that I have long wanted to get into and have not been able to do it because of how voluminous God's mind and God's speech has been. The Father has had so much to say and it needed to be voiced. This message is coming to you as myself. It has prophetic elements in it. I've just been recapping a few things that were covered a long time ago, but it is coming to you as myself, as the owner, the steward, and the curator of the Master's Voice Prophecy blog. If you don't know how to behave yourself, you will no longer be tolerated here. And I mean that 1,000,000,000%. The way I'm going to handle things is the way I'm going to handle things. I'm not asking for anybody's thoughts on it. I'm no longer going to tolerate abuse. I'm not going to tolerate disrespect. I'm not going to tolerate attacks. You will be kicked off. I did not say escorted off. I will eject you the way the F-1 jets eject the fighters when the jet is on fire and it's trying to save the guy's life. You will be spun out of here with orbital speed, never to return. And that is just it. If you don't know how to ask your questions, if you don't know how to speak to people, when I say people, I'm talking about me. If you don't know how to speak to me or any of that, it's no longer going to be tolerated. And so that is about it. There is still quite a bit of work to do. There's also the collation of the blog, the written prophecies, the video prophecies. They need to be linked because once they're linked on the blog, then every time you read a prophecy, you can just click the video because in the videos, please excuse the noise. In the videos, it's much more expanded, right? So in the video, a video is much more expanded. Every single little point is laid out for you as the Spirit gives me utterance. In the prophecy, it will be a lot more condensed. Otherwise, you would be reading pages and pages and pages and pages of what the meanings of the prophecies are. And so we're only in February of this year and the American people are groaning. We're only in February, okay? This is just barely 30 days after the advent of the administration that America swore she wanted. And now that administration is going after everything that the nation holds dear, every civil right, everything. They're going after it. They're demanding it. They're wanting access. And Americans think that because it's starting with foreigners, it's pointing to foreigners, it's starting with foreigners, Americans think, yeah, that's right, America for Americans. No, what you're watching is a precedent being set. You're looking at certain protocols being set, and they know that you will support them when they do it to foreign people. But after they've set up that we do this kind of witch hunt, we do this kind of oversight, we do this kind of audit without Senate oversight, and we do it against what the judges are saying. We step outside. We use the executive pen that you were afraid Kamala was going to use, and now Trump is abusing it 100 times more. Because he's always been an upfront, brash type of man. This administration is basically doing it to the outsiders first because they know that this nation is dull enough, racist and xenophobic enough to clap and say, yeah. But then after that, when the methodology has been established, this means the institutions for this new beast system that you're actually clapping for now has been set up. Once all the foreigners are gone, then guess who's next? Just go ahead and guess. Who's next? Because once the machine has been built and the claws have crunched, the claws have been built to crunch. So who do you think is next to be crunched? It's the citizens of the country that are going to be crunched. Exactly as you've heard since 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. The machinery isn't being built for the foreigners. It's being built for us. So, God bless you. God prosper you. God give you the wisdom to understand what I'm saying. God give you the peace inside your spirit that he's not going to leave us at the time we need him most, but we need him greatly to teach us how to navigate this new life and this new world and this new everything that is already upon us. So I am Celestial. You're on the Master's Voice Prophecy blog. Please do not interact with these underhanded people that are trying to scam you. Please do not do that. And until I see you again, God bless you and goodbye.
When will we get to a point where we're not just so wrapped up in hatred for the ones that are delivering God's hard truth? Many pastors today, they just try to build you up with this good old motivational speaking, telling you stuff that you want to hear. But you have to know this, that we're living in the end times. We're living in the last days, and things are not pretty out here. Just look around you at some of the things that are going on, and you have to know that Revelations is not a pretty scene. The last days and times are not a pretty scene, so God's message is going to be stern. It's going to hurt, and a lot of people can't deal with the truth. The truth is not always pretty. But hey, everyone has a thought and opinion. Make sure you drop down in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this video. See y'all next time.